question is why the ships are float. Archimedes principle states that the upward force on an object in liquid is equal to the weight of the water displaced by the object. When the buoyancy force is greater than the gravitational force, the object will float. So buoyancy force is upward direction always, and the gravitational is against the buoyancy force. So that's why if the gravitational force is greater than the buoyancy force, the object will sink. The ship is made up of steel, and the steel is much more denser than the water. But even though it's floating, because it's not a solid piece, it has a shape that covers more volume, and it displays the water much more than the weight of the ship. The steel ship have air inside, right? So that's lesser density, that has less density compared to the water. So that's one of the reason the ships float. So when water come inside the ships, definitely the air go outside of the ship. So that time the weight of the ship get increased, so it get sink. Average density of the total volume of the ship and everything inside it must be less than the same volume of the displaced water. If the average density of the ship is greater than the average density of the water, then definitely it will sink beneath the surface of the water. For example, Titanic ship, we all know that when a ship sinks, because the water coming inside, the force will out the air inside it, so that thing increase more density than the water outside of the ship. So reason it gets sink basically. So shortly we can say the ship do not sink when the water around them, but the ship will sink when the water inside them. So yeah, that's a video about how the ship floats on the water, and why don't the iron ball or a high density material which not float, because everything is considered about volume and density and how much water it going to be displaced. So those things is going to be more matter. When you add more weight into that ship, definitely it gets sink. So you have to maintain that sustained level which is correct for the ship. So everyone they maintain definitely. As I told you before, I do experiment. So just I take one stone and the plastic lid and the steel box. So those three things I take to do this experiment. Now let's see, I just put a stone inside the water. Let's see what happens. So the stone goes directly inside the water because it has more denser than the water. It weight is too heavy compared to its volume, so that volume is fully filled. So that's the reason it can't able to float over there. Now we just put that plastic lid over the water surface. Now we can see it's floating because it cover more volume. That volume is full empty, hollow place is there, and there is even water here, no water, and air is filled with this place. So when you add water into this thing, what happens? So it goes inside like little bit. Now leave it this thing, and now I take a steel box. So just I put into the water. It's a floating because it cover so many it has some volume, and it's full empty. You can see that even it's too height, that volume is full empty, you can see. So now I just add little bit water here. Still it's floating still because of that buoyancy force is greater than the gravitational force still. So that's the reason it's floating. So when I add more water, now it's gone. You can see it go deep is gone much more. So now you can see the height very less, right? First we see this amount of height is outside of the water surface. Now we can see this amount is the outside of the water surface. Now when I add a full water instead of it, what happened? It goes inside because it get more denser, and it get more weight compared to the previous. So that's the reason it gone inside. So the thing is, when you can differentiate here, the tin boxes has same volume but have different denser, make the difference, you can feel it. Okay, this is same box, but when I fill with half water, it float. When I fill with full water, it got inside because it has a full like a mass. So full mass means full, like it get more weight and it get more gravity. So that's the reason the buoyant force is not exist over here. So yeah, I hope you understand what's the difference between the previous and now, and how the thing is floating. And so when the water come inside the tin box, the air gone outside, so that makes this thing more weighter, more denser, so that's why it's can't able to float anymore. So definitely it gets sink because of its heavy weight. So that's the reason the stone also gone inside, because it has some volume, that volume is filled with more denser, that's the only reason it gone inside. So whatever stone you take, small stone, big stone, it filled with more denser, and because of that atom, like a closed packed over there, here no atom, here you can see whole empty place, empty space is there, whole empty space. So that's the reason it get float and that stone not get float. So yeah, I hope you understand this video. Pleasure to share my thoughts about that thing, so I'm very happy for that. And keep support me, keep be with me to do more thing with full confidence. If you like my content, if you like this video, then subscribe it, and share to the people who want to know this thing. If you have any friends, then share to them, and if they want to know this thing, then share to them. So yeah, we will meet the next great video. Bye.